All right, we're going to talk about positive forkitis and we're going to talk about negative forkitis. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, you see how I have my handlebar lined up with the fork? That's neutral forkitis. Okay? Now, if you loosen the handlebars so it'll come down, that's positive forkitis. If you loosen them so it'll go up that way, that's positive forkitis. Or excuse me, that's negative forkitis. So this is neutral forkitis. Down is that way is positive, up that way is negative. It depends how you like it. What's it mean? I don't know, but it sounds good, don't it? See, I got my heel kicker on. Let's see if my foot can fit inside there. There you go. I guess that's what it's going to be like. I might trade the Cadillac in for a Jeep Wrangler, for a four-door, which they're called unlimited. The one I'm looking at is a Rubicon. I'm thinking of trading the Jeep in for the Jeep. I'm thinking of trading the Cadillac in for a Rubicon, a four-door Rubicon. My reasons are the engine that Cadillac has in. They have carbon fiber timing belts. They're notorious for going bad. In other words, either breaking or the teeth being stripped at around 100,000 miles. I have 106,000 miles on there now. Now, the timing belt may never break. So that's one of the things I don't like about the car. Another thing is, guys, I need something to be able to carry stuff when I do projects on a house here. You know, every time I buy something, I have to rent a van from U-Haul. So the Jeep it'll help. I can't carry everything in a Jeep, but it can do a lot more than the Cadillac does. Also, for vacation, when we go on vacation next year, we're going to be renting a four-door Jeep. If I buy this Jeep, that'll save me. The rental is $955, $1,000. So the rental will save me $1,000 right there. Hold on, not the rental. If I buy the Jeep, I won't have to rent the Jeep. So I'll save $1,000 there. I caught myself from saying that. And the insurance is $300 cheaper than my Cadillac. I'm going to talk to you guys about insurance here for a second. Wait till you hear this bunch of crap. So you guys know when I got the Cadillac, it was $906 with State Farm Auto. It was $906 a year. Okay, excuse me a second. Every time I eat, guys, this happens. You guys think it's COPD? No. I just had a turkey and lettuce sandwich. It creates phlegm in my throat. So, okay, I financed, the car is financed, so will be the Jeep. My insurance through State Farm was $906 a year. Okay? The second year with State Farm, they raised it up to $1,200, I think it was $1,255. Now, you got to remember, I haven't had an accident or a moving violation ticket in the last 30 years, maybe longer than that. They raised it from $900 to $1,255 in 1 year. Okay. So I recently canceled my auto insurance with State Farm and I went with a different company, which is $400 cheaper for the Cadillac. $400 annually cheaper for the Cadillac. So the State Farm agent emails me back a message saying, most people don't look before they do things. Since your insurance was bundled, now your homeowners is going to go up by $565. My homeowners is $206 a quarter. which is $824 and change a year. So since I no longer have my auto with these people, they're going to basically penalize me by $565. So my homeowners with State Farm would be over $1,300 annually. And I've never had a claim against this house since I've owned it in 1982. And I told them that. I said, okay, you leave me no choice but to get homeowners with another insurance company, and that's just what I did. They are also, I got a different company. They are $450 cheaper annually than State Farm. State Farm lost my motorcycle, they lost my car, and they lost my homeowners because they're greedy. I already got an estimate on the Jeep Wrangler. It's 600 and some dollars. I think it's $650 annually. And that's financed, guys. That's financed. So I'll save the $1,000 for rent. If I have to rent a Jeep, I won't have to rent the Jeep no more because I'll have one. So that's $1,000 there, and I'll save about $30 a month on insurance. Now I'm paying on the e-bike that's over there. That's the e-bike. I'm making installments on that, $350 a month. So then that's going to be done That's going to be done by summer next year. So I should easily be able to pay the payment on this Jeep Wrangler or the Jeep Rubicon. You know, guys, I'll tell you another thing, man. The Cadillac's nice. It is a nice car. It has a sunroof, and it's got every electronic thing you can think of. But you sit down, you sit so low. It's like you actually sit like you're in a Corvette. I've had a few sports cars in my time, and this car sits lower than all of them. I had a Mustang GT, I had a Z28, and this Cadillac sits lower. I've been in Corvettes. This car sits as low as a frickin' Corvette does. You know, so what's happening is whenever you have someone behind you, their lights are like beaming right down into you. And they blind you. They literally blind you. You know, and I have auto-dimming rear glass, and I have an auto-dimming mirror, and the lights still blind you. It's like a flying saucer is trying to land right behind you, or a 747. You know, so good chance I'm gonna trade it in. Good chance it will. And that's gonna probably be my last vehicle. That's gonna take me into my retirement. It'll probably be my last vehicle I'll ever buy. And hopefully, where we want to go, I'm gonna need a Jeep. So that's the news. And that's the news. That's what happened with the insurance company. Yeah, since I no longer have my insurance bundled with State Farm, he said, well, and most people don't read things before they do something. They're like I'm some kind of freaking like I guess the guy's taking me for a moron or something. I mean, I look like a moron. He's probably taking me for a moron. So this guy looks like this dumb dago has bald head. Looks like he's stupid. He must be stupid. Yeah, so the homeowners would have been over $1,300 a year, and I have never made a claim, guys. I have never made a claim. With the car, I haven't had an accident or a ticket in at least 30 years, maybe longer. So I found one of my classmates from. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose, guys. I found one of my classmates from elementary school, from grade school. Here I'm IMing him. I'm wondering why he's not IMing me back. Here, he passed away in February this year. They're almost all dead. There's only like 2 or 3 of them left. Not, excluding me. I can only the ones that I could find were the ones that bullied me, and they bullied him too. Matter of fact, I bullied him also. The guy I was trying to find, I used to pick on him too because he was an easy target, you know. And what happened in my grade school to me was peer pressure. You know, what I did was I tried to be like the other kids. I'm going to just come out and straight tell you guys that I went to an almost all black American school. Now, I don't have anything against black American people, but you know, I'm going to have to basically tell you guys exactly what I'm talking about for you to understand what I'm saying. The school I went to was an inner city school. It was 90% black American, 10% white. All right, there's probably maybe 3 white kids in the classroom. I was one of them. We all got picked on. So I picked on him, the guy I just found out passed away, one of my old classmates. I used to pick on him to be in with the black kids. You know, because I figured, well, if I become like them, they're not going to bully me, which it didn't do no good. So I basically jumped aboard the gravy train. It's what you call peer pressure. You know, then there was another kid that we all used to just savagely bully him. I remember soccer punching him one day for no reason whatsoever. You know, and I'm sorry for doing that, and I don't suggest anybody to do anything like that. But see, when I talk about these things, it kind of like it cleanses my soul, cleanses my spirit. You know, I've already told my wife. So what happened? His name was Kennywood, and he's standing in front of the doorway. I go up to him, bam, soccer punch him right across the. You know, you're talking about, man. We're in 5th grade. I think it's 5th or 6th grade. And the black kids seen it. They liked it. They liked that. They used to pick on him periodically. Then the one guy that passed away, I used to pick on him too. And what I was going to do is I was going to apologize to him. You know, I didn't pick on him as much as I got picked on. He got bullied more than I did. If I would have to put the bullying into classifications, 1 being the worst, 3 being the least, I got picked on class 2. Okay, he got picked on class 1, and as a result, he was overweight in grade school. He was overweight when he passed away. He never got married because when you get bullied, guys, when you get tormented like this at a young age in school, you absorb that, okay, and you become that. Your mind welds in place like that, and you become fearful of everybody. You grow up in fear. This is what's going to happen to these kids that are involved in the school shootings. They're going to grow up in fear like this. They're going to be scared of anybody and anybody, and they're not going to go nowhere because they're afraid of a shooting happening. You know, and I could tell you that they're going to grow up like that because that's how I grew up, from fear. Because I grew up being bullied every single day. I'm not talking about just, you know, like mild bullying. I'm talking about beatings, chairs smashed over my head, books, you know, big social study books like this, boom, over my head, face slammed down on concrete, knocked all my front teeth out, and stabbed in the hand with a pencil. You know, I got tormented. The kid that I was going to, he was a man, that I was going to try to get together with him and apologize to him maybe. He got bullied even worse than that. They would do stuff to him like as soon as the teacher would leave the room, they'd get all the tacks out of the teacher's drawer, and put all tacks all over the seat. And then when he'd sit on them, he'd jump right back up screaming. Okay. If he would leave his lunch in the desk, they'd put like paint inside the food. They'd pour paint, like if he had a sandwich, they would take paints out of the art room and pour paint all inside the sandwich, and then close the sandwich back up and close the bag back up. That's what they would do. That's the kind of inner city school I went to. So you figure to yourself, well, I'm going to become like them, so then maybe they'll like that and they'll stop tormenting me, which they did a little bit, but not 100%. And like I said, guys, you grow up with this fear, and you just simply become like that. You become afraid of everybody. You become very antisocial because you're afraid to say anything to somebody in fear that they're not going to like what you say. Even if you know that they're not going to be like that, you still have that. You're still cautious because that's how you were raised. And the schools don't care. Don't think for 1 minute that these schools are stopping bullying today. They could not. The schools don't care less about the children. They're afraid of getting sued by the families. When a kid comes up to a teacher and says, I'm being picked on or bullied, it should be looked into in a professional way. Okay? And if that's what's going on, that kid should be taken out of that school and put in a different one, or that kid should be tutored at home. The schools don't care. That's why this last shooting where that 15-year-old shot her teacher and another classmate, then she shot herself in the head. That was a Catholic Christian school. These schools, man, they don't care. They're full of it. And it not only affects the children's learning, which that's just temporary because they're going to learn later on. They're going to get all that learning back. But what it affects their ability to be social with other people. And that's a major deal. That's even more important than them learning math, history, and everything else. And I can attest to this because I have gone through that. I have gone through the tormenting firsthand. When I got face slammed down on concrete sidewalk, knocking my teeth out. I had been, I think I was like 12 years old, 11, 12, maybe 13 years old. I don't really remember. Okay? I had blood pouring out of my mouth. I went running home, crying, running home. God knows what people on the street thought when they seen that. Somehow they found out who did it. It was a black guy. It was a black senior. Naturally, the family didn't have any money. They didn't pay anything. They didn't pay They didn't pay anything for the damage to my teeth. They didn't have no money. Matter of fact, we went to the house. Me and my father and mother went to the house, and we talked to the mother. She told us to get out. That's what she said. She said, "You get out. You get out. You get out of my house." They didn't have no money. They didn't have money to pay that. And then my parents sent me back to that school about I think it was like maybe 3, maybe even a month later after I had the work done on my mouth from the dentist. I had caps put on my the teeth, whatever teeth was left. I think about a month. I went back a month later. You don't send a kid back to a school where your child goes through trauma like that. They sent me back. They sent me back to that school. So what do you think happened to me? I was even more terrified to go back to this place. I was even more scared. So naturally, that's going to affect my learning even more, which it did. So I just want to show you guys. I got that toe heel kicker on the Harley. I have yet to try out to see if those handlebars are going to feel good like that. There is a certain name for how the handlebars are positioned. The way I have them right now, the handlebars are straight with the forks. Um, you know what? Hold on 1 minute. There, it looks like I actually have a damper control on that. It can't be. What I was looking at, guys, was this right here. That's probably like a cap that goes over the bolt. But on my 81, I had a knob right here where you could tighten it, and it would tighten the forks where the forks would they would be stiffer to move in either direction. Now, like I said, this talking about my school being dominated by Black Americans. This has nothing to do with racism. My best friends were actually Black Americans. When I worked for the city, I was one of my buddies. He passed away also. He was Black American, and I loved the dude. But that's the kind of school I went to, guys, because that's, back then, man, that was when Martin Luther King got assassinated when I was going to grade school. And they blamed all white people for their leader getting assassinated, which I can understand that. When you're in a minority, you don't feel like you're part of the rest of the world. It's like I'm in a minority also, being an Italian American, and I was already. A matter of fact, I still am getting treated with bigotry by one of my brother-in-laws, possibly by both of them. So this has nothing to do with racism. In order for me to tell you guys specifically what I'm talking about, I had to tell you guys the amount of the nationality, or I guess you can call it nationality, difference of the school I went to. Yeah, so I found out he passed away. This guy passed away in February. I was going to apologize to him. I didn't pick on him a lot, but I did pick on him. I joined the gravy train. I jumped aboard the train along with everybody else to try to be like everyone else, which didn't do no good. So I'm going to probably hear from the dealership tomorrow, and if it goes through, I'm going to try to make the deal on Thursday because I have off Thursday and Friday. And if I have to, I'm going to sell all my guns to pay for the Jeep. I'm not going to sell them right away, guys. I'm going to try to hang on to my guns as long as I can because guns are like gold. You can always get money for them. That's why whenever you buy a gun, whether it's a rifle, a bifle, a kifle, or a rifle, or a pistol, or whatever, try to buy something that's expensive. And the reason for that is if you ever have to sell that, you'll get a nice chunk of change back. Okay, that's like with me. I I might buy a 1911 45 next, and if I do, it's not gonna be a cheap one. In case if I ever have to resell that, at least I'll get something back. Let me see what else. Oh yeah, I want to talk about Trump a little bit. I'm starting to agree with that man a little bit. He claims that they're eating cats and dogs over in Springfield, Ohio. I think they might have been. I think they might have been. They might have been eating cats. They might have been because I used to know a Chinese restaurant over here in Garfield, Pittsburgh, where there was no cats. Cats were disappearing left and right. Here, they were catching the cats, killing the cats, and cooking the cats, and selling the cats in their Chinese food, and no one knew it. People thought they were buying like chicken fried rice. Meanwhile, there's cat meat in it, and no one knew the difference. They got shut down too, by the way. They got closed down. Once the Department of Health found out, they closed them down. You know, Trump is right on a lot of things. He's trying to bring jobs back to this country, but see, I don't think he realizes the kind of people that are in America today. The younger generation does not want to do dirty work. Okay, the jobs that the migrants have, they Americans don't want to do them, and they're not going to do them. Americans want like $30 an hour, and they don't want to get their hands dirty. Well, you know what, guys, I'm sorry, but there ain't many jobs like that. Ain't many jobs like that, bro. Ain't many jobs like that. Them days, man, the days of the big manufacturing jobs, they're gone, man. Migrants didn't take them. Automation took those jobs from you, son. Robotic automation. Now wait till they get to AI. Wait till that starts to crank up. The AI is going to run those factories. You think you don't have a job now? You think you don't have a job now? It's the way it is. That's the way you make America great again is you put the human being back on the assembly line like it used to be in the 1940s and 50s. That's how you. That's what you need to do. You do away with the robots and the robotic automation. They got AI coming in. It doesn't look like they're thinking of cutting back at all, son. It doesn't look like it to me. Oh, all this technology is good. Oh yeah, it's good for taking away jobs. Is what it's good for doing. Y'all are brainwashed by this crap. You put the person, brother. You put the person back on the assembly line. Okay, that's how it's done. That's how you bring jobs back to America. There would be a factory in each city. There would be nobody homeless. There would be nobody jobless if you put the person back on the assembly line. You don't need unions for that. You don't need unions. Treat these people fairly.